months until Nigeria's next general election, serious questions remain about the readiness of opposition parties to credibly challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Now, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and the Labour Party are still recovering from the 2023 polls with limited visible progress in building the strategic coalition of grassroots structures needed to unseat the incumbent. While political analysts say success in 2027 hinges on three factors: a united opposition front, early and effective voter mobilization, and the presentation of credible policy alternatives to address the country's economic and security crises. While the PDP continues to struggle with internal leadership disputes, while the Labour Party must prove it can move beyond personality-driven politics and build a nationwide organization. While the APC retains a strong advantage of incumbency and federal resources, even amidst public criticism over the economy and policy implementation. Now, Nigerian voters, increasingly focused on issues, will ultimately decide whether the opposition has done enough to earn their mandate come 2027. A chieftain of the opposition African Democratic Congress, Madam Ladan Salihu, joins us now for a conversation about the opposition parties' preparedness to unseat the ruling APC in 2027. Welcome to Newsday. Thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you, Hawa, for having me.
Well, the ADC is the home to many newcomers. Why is it the right home for the coalition compared to the PDP or any of the other parties out there?
The ADC is the congregation. It is the constellation, if you like, it aggregates all opposition-minded politicians, be they PDP or NNPP or any other, political groups that are, concerned about the progress of Nigeria and the state of ineptitude, misgovernance, and a failing structure in leadership called the APC-led government. And we are more than prepared. We have the tools. We have the quality minds. We have the leadership. And we have the capacity to provide not only a robust opposition, but to challenge and unseat the government through a democratic process of campaign and elections in the year 2027. I have no worries about that because when you look at the situation in the country, in my view, the critical mass of opposition that people tend to forget, including those of us in the media, is the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people are the witnesses to the clear and present danger the APC government is to Nigerians. When you look at the situation of poverty, insecurity, corruption in government, and the recent issue of taxation, where you have a clear fraudulent document that is distinct from what the National Assembly so-called approved, that was edited. That's crime. If the National Assembly approves a law, it becomes a law. You can't change a comma. You can't put a full stop. You don't edit it until it gets back to the National Assembly. And then you can say you have a document. So, and you look, the critical opposition forces that are on the ground to fight these governments, first and foremost, are the Nigerian people. The structures of opposition in the political party that I belong to, which is the ADC, is more than competent to look at all these issues and talk to the Nigerian public and engage them in a meaningful way through very sensitive, critical, and cerebral discussions that will bring about the understanding and the failure of this government, in discharging its own responsibilities. So I am not worried. I would only ask Nigerians to be patient, because in the coming weeks or months, Nigerians will see a blueprint from the African Democratic Congress, ADC, that will spell out in clear-cut terms the policy objectives, the options going forward, and our manifesto that will give Nigerians, that ray of hope that we are not just an opposition for the rhetorical sense, in the rhetorical sense of it. We are a real and present opposition that is prepared to deliver, on our own mandate to Nigerians.
Fair enough. And with titans in the party like Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar all under one roof, the question of who leads this ticket, well, that's the big elephant in the room right now. How is the ADC planning to manage these high-stakes ambitions without triggering a fresh wave of defections or angry sentiment?
No, you see, I have been asked this question severally on
Of course,
on several
everyone
platforms,
wants to know.
I have been consistent in giving the answers. When you have Atiku Abubakar with his pedigree, with his experience, with his quality, with his integrity, and the capacity that he has shown in leadership over the years, and you have the likes of Peter Obi, with not only capacity, but the zeal, the verve, the gusto, and the energy that he displays, and the sincerity of his purpose when it comes to the issue of leadership. You have these two under the same roof. Nigerians should work towards encouraging the two to work together alongside other political titans in the opposition. Rotimi Amechi, Babachir Lawal, El Rufai, and several others. I'm not going to call names. I think the focus should be on how Nigerians can encourage these gentlemen in the opposition, not to look at them with the feeling that a trouble is about to brew. No, I can assure you that all the fears that have been raised, especially in your question with regards to the two being under the same roof and having a kind of, misunderstanding, will not happen in the ADC. Because before this amalgamation, before this, coming together, they have engaged severally and have narrowed down their positions to agree to work collectively in the interest of Nigeria. It is not about their ambitions, they told us. It is about the ambition of the Nigerian state to rise and shine and become a model for credible democracy, not only in Africa, but around the world. So I am convinced that the trepidations or fears that Nigerians have about the two having issues and others will defect is just a literature that is from the playbook of the APC-led government and their minders. So just throw that into the dustbin of conversation history. I know it will come up again.
Oh, it definitely will. But it must be said that how is it the burden of the Nigerian people to convince grown politicians, very active and very well known within their sector, to make the decision for themselves? I think that decision would come from the two of them, encouragement or not. But we will see how all of that plans out. Now, if the coalition fails to agree on a single candidate by late 2026, will the ADC still run independently, or will it fold into another arrangement? Now, these questions are being asked because we remember what happened with the PDP and seeing Peter Obi exit in the first place when he felt like he was being snubbed for whatever position he was in. So these are why these questions are very pertinent, and history tends to repeat itself.
Absolutely. Excellent question. Look, the ADC is not about rival ambitions. The ADC is not about the ambition of one man or the ambition of, certain groups of people. Yes, ambitions do exist. They are all in, the process of seeking for power. But the ambition that the dramatis personae in the ADC share for now is the sole ambition of providing a robust opposition that will see an alternative government in 2027. And they are united in this ambition. And so we are going forward with our own policy alternative documents, with our own, coalition building strategies and formulations. And we are going on with youth engagement, especially the young ones who are feeling, the pains of what Nigeria is going through, young voters and people that are not even particularly politically minded but are young and are looking for breakthrough in life and are looking for a government that will provide transparency and credible leadership and will open the vista and the scope of leadership and opportunities and privileges for them to excel. So, like I said, in the coming weeks, certainly, in a few months, Nigerians will see in the ADC that shining star that will lighten up the space for, a credible movement that will, engage every Nigerian across the political spectrum, and will engage Nigerians, captains of industry, the academia, labor groups and what have you. This is going to be a massive movement, I assure you, Hawa. It is not going to be business as usual, and we will galvanize and and deepen, if you like, stakeholding within the Nigerian political circles to ensure that we aggregate our forces and we marshal out our own strategies, coming to 2027 for what will be, a victory waiting to happen.
Well, we will just have to wait and see. Thank you so much for joining me on Newsday this afternoon. Malam Ladan Salihu.